I'm Brandie Yates, and we're talking about holiday safety and winter safety with Lieutenant Grillo with the Meridian Township Police Department. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off. Online shopping has been probably the biggest thing nowadays. Not many people are going in stores, but there's a lot of safety concerns with online shopping. Let's address those first.
Sure, absolutely. I know a lot of people do get a little bit nervous when they're thinking about shopping online, but one of the things that they want to look for when they go to the website, if they look in the address bar, there should be a little lock in the address bar. It looks just like it's just a little icon of a lock. If there's a lock up there, that means it's a secure site and that it's probably okay for you to enter in your credit card information into that site. Also, in the address bar, if the address is HTTPS, that S on the end actually stands for secure. So that's something that you can look for as well to know that it's a relatively safe site for you to actually make a donation on.
A little peace of mind for if you're shopping online. Anything else? What kind of things do you guys see? Like, I know the convenience factors there, putting your credit card in and leaving it in all these accounts. What kind of things, what advice do you have for people for that kind of thing?
Well, just again, make sure that the site is secure before you do that. If you have any intuition that it's not secure, don't enter your information in there. Also, when you're out shopping, it's sometimes convenient to go to McDonald's and do some of your shopping while you're sitting there. Just know that a lot of times those are open Wi-Fi networks, and there may be a hacker sitting somewhere inside that establishment that may be able to tap into your stuff. So yeah, be careful when you're using that. If you have access to a VPN, which is a virtual private network, use that. Otherwise, just wait till you get home to do your holiday shopping and entering your credit card information in.
So online shopping doesn't stop just online.
Right.
You also have to await your deliveries. And there's a lot of, we see it on national news and everywhere that people are actually stealing packages off of doorsteps. What kind of advice does the police department have for not only shopping online, but receiving your items safely?
Sure. If you're concerned about that, you can always contact whatever delivery service, be it the the post office or UPS, and ask them to hold your packages. You can pick them up right from the actual hubs there instead. They've also got, cameras that you can put up in your house. I've got one at my house that, if somebody does try to steal my stuff, they'll see that they're on camera, and it's a good deterrent, if nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into shopping a little more in person.
Sure.
There's some things, I know it's busy time of year, it gets dark a lot earlier.
Yes, it does.
What kind of things would the police department like to say about going to these establishments in person?
Sure. Yeah. First thing is, you don't need to carry a big wad of cash with you, because understand that if you lose your credit card, if your credit card gets stolen, there's a lot of protections, financial protections that you won't be responsible for purchases. However, if you lose the cash, it's gone. There's probably not much that I'm going to be able to do to help you. So avoid carrying large amounts of cash with you when you're out and about shopping. If you're going to be going someplace and it's going to be busy, let's say it's Black Friday or a few days before Christmas, and you're getting your last minute shopping in, and you're going to bring your kids or other members of your family with you, just recognize that it's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of people. You may want to have a plan in place in case you get separated. So if we get separated, let's meet at the front counter or something like that, so everybody knows that if for some reason you lose track of a family member, where to go, where to meet up after that.
That's a good point you brought up with young children, keeping aware of your surroundings and making sure you're not too distracted.
Absolutely. There's a tendency, obviously, in these days and age to get distracted, especially when it's real busy like that with our cell phones and things like that. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to our surroundings, being aware of dangers, and being aware of where our loved ones are.
Okay, and you said not carrying big amounts of cash. I know sometimes, I'm guilty of it too, having a big purse and like having too many items that you're juggling. Sometimes that could be a sign that someone could easily I don't want to say pickpocket, but steal your purse or your belongings when you're not paying attention. Yeah,
less is more for sure when you're out shopping. It's easy if you are carrying large bundles of things to get distracted like we were talking about. Just make sure that you, keep it to a minimum. You don't need to have all that stuff with you.
And then I kind of want to touch on the being out at night a little more, parking, and what kind of advice does the police have for that, and maybe just being aware of possible suspicious people
Yep.
around. What can people do if they feel a little unsafe?
Sure, if possible, bring a buddy with you, okay? So when you go shopping, if you're not alone, if you've got, there's strength in numbers, right? So more people with you, the better, and it's a lot more fun anyways to go shopping with somebody else, right?
And I know that many establishments and even the police department, if you need an escort or if you feel unsafe, that's always available too. Correct?
Absolutely, yep. Check with the store first, because a lot of times they'll be willing to help you out with that. If they're not and you're on your own and you don't feel safe walking through the parking lot, then just give us a call, and when we're available, we'll come and give you an escort.
Okay, and this time of the year, not only are people shopping, it's kind of the season of giving.
Yep.
People make donations to different charities and different, the bell ringers, for
Yeah.
example. What kind of advice does the police have making sure that they're legitimate, or making sure you know where your donations are going?
Sure, yeah, donations are solicited in a couple of different ways, right? There's the in-person, like you said, the bell ringers, which those are generally pretty safe because that's usually Salvation Army. If you ever have a question though, if it's legit, ask them if they are a 501c3, if they have that charitable organization designation, because if they don't, you might want to be leery of it. Now, if it's somebody that you know, if it's an organization that you know and you're familiar with, and especially if it's an in-person donation, then you can probably feel pretty safe making that donation. But there's online donations, right? And that's a big thing nowadays. Again, we talked about earlier the lock and the URL code and the HTTPS. Make sure that those are there. Make sure that if somebody says they donate to the Salvation Army, that their entire address says Salvation Army, that it is actually all of those letters, because sometimes they will try to throw you off a little bit and maybe have one of those letters off, and it will make it so that it's going to some place where it probably shouldn't go. So when in doubt, just don't donate.
Okay.
But do your best to make sure that you are donating to a legit organization.
And kind of to piggyback off that, you see a lot of email scams or phone scams this time of year, especially targeting maybe the elderly, or what can you say about those kind of things?
Well, again, if you ever have any question, you can call us and we can help you. We can guide you and tell you, yeah, this probably is a good place, or don't make a donation there. But be very leery of anybody who's sending you an email asking for donations. That's probably not somebody you're going to want to make a donation to.
And sometimes it's a little too good to be true.
Yeah,
some of those scams that are
exactly.
going around, like you won a trip, or this deal, buy one get 5 free, or something.
Yep.
So, or even like I said, the phone solicitations. What can you tell those maybe watching at home that are maybe in the older population about phone scams during this time of year?
You hit the nail on the head with, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? If somebody's calling and asking for your social security number, don't give it to them. Don't give that to them over the phone. Be very, very leery of giving your credit card information over the phone too. Ask them to send you something. Send you something in the mail, and then you can fill it out or decide if it's legit once you get the information. It also will give you some time to actually research who it is that's calling you. A lot of times if you get a phone call from somebody and you don't recognize the number, and you answer, you talk to them, you're suspicious, but you're not sure. If you search that number, Google or whatever, it'll a lot of times it'll tell you, yeah, this is a scam number, and don't give them any information.
Okay, before we move on to holiday travel and winter, protecting your home in the winter, anything else you want to add about online safety or shopping? Anything else?
Yeah, just obviously it's very tempting to put your credit card information in to these sites. Just follow some of these safety tips that we discussed today, and I think you should be pretty safe.
Okay, so holiday travel, a lot more people are on the road, especially with the winter weather. What kind of tips do you have for just getting to point A and B safely as possible, especially during this busy time of year?
Absolutely, just your regular day-to-day driving. We live in Michigan, obviously.
Right.
We never know what the roads are going to be like, so make sure that when you set your alarm in the morning that you give yourself extra time, because you never know. We may get snow overnight, we may get ice overnight, and you may not have enough time to get to where you're going on time. So leave yourself extra time in the morning, especially. Understand that your stopping distance is going to increase significantly when there's snow and when there's ice on the roads. So be very careful when you're driving.
And leave a little more extra room between other vehicles?
Yep, exactly. Just, again, like I said, your stopping distance is probably going to be at least triple what it normally is. So it may not look icy, but just anticipate, better safe than sorry, right?
Okay,
Anticipate
I know.
you're gonna
We do
run
live
into
in
slippery
Michigan, but
roads.
it's always, that first snow, it's always like, wow, there's a lot of accidents or there's a lot of issues on the roads.
Yep, a lot of slide-offs, absolutely.
Okay, some people are typically going too fast as well.
Absolutely, yep. You've got to slow down, and you've got to make sure that you leave enough space between yourself and the car in front of you so you don't get into a wreck.
Okay, and let's move on to, so when you do travel for maybe extended periods of time, maybe on a vacation or visiting family, and you leave your home unattended, especially in the winter, there's some things that maybe someone who is going to break in will look for. So what kind of tips to help prevent any break-ins when you're gone, or just to protect your home during the winter season?
Well, first off, it's kind of a old school thing, but just get to know your neighbors, right? If you're friendly with your neighbors and they know when you're going to be gone and when you're going to be home, and they understand that they might need to look after your house a little bit while you're gone, that's fantastic, because neighbors helping neighbors, and a lot of times people don't know that somebody has broken into their house until they get home. If somebody can call us right away and say, hey, there was a vehicle in the driveway, it looks suspicious, I know that my neighbors aren't supposed to be home, then maybe we can have some success in catching somebody and keeping the neighborhood safe. So that would be the first thing. Secondly, after you leave, unplug your garage door opener. If you park your vehicle in the driveway, your second vehicle in the driveway, and you leave, and you've got your garage door opener in there, even if the vehicle's locked, really it's just a pane of glass that's protecting your house at that point. If somebody breaks your window or picks your lock, they can open your garage without any hesitation.
I've never thought of that before.
Yep, absolutely. They close the door behind them, and they can stay there as long as they want, because there's really nothing suspicious going on at that point. So unplug your garage door opener, for sure. If you have timers on your lights, use the timers. And just know that we will do property checks for you. So if you call the police department, or if you go onto our website, you can let us know that you're going to be gone, and we'll do vacation property checks.
So, and with that, you kind of drive the neighborhood and kind of...
We do more than that.
Oh,
we
okay.
actually, if we specifically know that your house at 123 Main Street is going to be vacant for 3 or 4 days, our officers have a list of those houses. They go to those houses, they pull in the driveway, they get out, they walk around, they make sure that all your doors are locked, your windows are locked, and that everything looks safe, that there aren't any footprints that shouldn't be there. And then we document that. And then when you come home, we take you off the list, and we can actually provide you with the documentation that shows when and where we were at your house.
And I feel like the police department's been doing that service for quite some time now.
At least 17 years, 'cause that's how long I've been here.
So, and then besides putting your lights on timers, and I mean locking up, locking your car, locking your vehicle, I mean, there is still the chance that someone could break in, but it helps deter them a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. If you keep your everything locked up, your vehicles, your house, and double check, maybe have a second person check too, because there may be a window that you forgot to check or don't even think about. Have a second person check, and you should be good.
Okay. And one more thing I always like to bring up, we live in the world of social media.
Yes, we do.
And when people travel, sometimes they're tempted to post their travel plans, which I know the police department kind of frowns upon. Can you add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. If you're putting it out there for everybody that, hey, I'm not going to be home, you may as well put a sign out front, right? That says,
Right.
Come check out my house because it's going to be vacant for a few days. Don't do that. Just wait till you get home to start posting all your pics and telling everybody that where you went for your vacation.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about these holiday and winter safety tips. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything that people can learn more about the police department?
Yeah, feel free to call us. We will talk to you, or we'll send an officer out. And anytime you have any questions or you need tips, anything, just give us a holler.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for watching.